The quantum sensors aboard the Celestial Bastion erupted in a symphony of alerts, their urgent frequencies piercing the usual calm of the command deck. Admiral Thorin Nash's crystalline eyes snapped open, centuries of military discipline overriding his meditative rest. Around him, the organic tech hybrid bridge thrummed with nervous energy as his Sentinel crew processed the impossible data streaming across their neural interfaces. "Report," Nash commanded, his voice carrying the weight of someone who'd spent 3 centuries guarding the quarantine zone around Sol system. The living walls of the bridge pulsed with a deep crimson, reflecting the severity of the breach. First Officer Dara Vix's tendrils writhed with anxiety as she interfaced directly with the ship's consciousness. "Admiral, the humans. They'd broken through the quantum barrier. Not just penetrated it. They shattered it." Nash's expression remained stoic, but his inner membranes flickered with concern. The quantum barrier had been the Galactic Confederation's ultimate achievement, an impenetrable wall of warped space-time designed to contain humanity after their catastrophic first contact 2 centuries ago. When humans had responded to peaceful overtures with military mobilization, the Confederation had decided isolation was the only safe option. "Show me," Nash ordered, rising from his command pod. The bridge's neural matrix coalesced into a holographic display, showing a section of the barrier dissolving like mist before a storm. Through the dissolving barrier surged a vessel unlike anything in Confederation records. The human ship was darkness given form, its hull seeming to bend light around it rather than reflect it. No energy signatures, no radiation emissions, nothing that their sensors could properly quantify. It moved like a predator, purpose in every motion. "They're broadcasting, sir," Vix reported, her tendrils now coiled tight with tension. In perfect Confederation standard. The message that played through the bridge's neural network was deceptively simple. 200 years. You gave us 200 years to think about what we'd done. Time's up. Let's talk. Nash recognized the voice, or rather, recognized its heritage. He'd been there 2 centuries ago, when humanity's leaders had refused diplomatic contact, when their warships had mobilized in response to peaceful first contact. The same steel in the voice, the same unflinching determination, but something was different now. "Sir," his tactical officer, Zen, called out, his crystalline form vibrating with concern. "The human vessel. It's not using any known form of propulsion. The energy readings, they defy our understanding of physics." Nash moved closer to the holographic display, studying the human ship's trajectory. They weren't running, weren't trying to escape their long imprisonment. Every movement was calculated, deliberate. This wasn't a prison break. It was a demonstration. "They're heading directly for the Confederation capital," Vix announced, her voice trembling. "But sir, the way they're moving, they're letting us track them. They want us to follow." The realization hit Nash like a gravitational wave. 200 years of isolation hadn't broken humanity. It had transformed them. The Confederation had given them time to think, to plan, to evolve. And now they were ready to show exactly what that evolution had produced. "All ships, maintain distance, but do not engage," Nash commanded, his inner membranes now pulsing with a mix of anticipation and dread. "Alert the High Council. Tell them we made a mistake. We didn't contain humanity. We gave them a challenge, and now they're back to show us exactly what they did with it." As the human vessel accelerated towards the heart of Confederation space, Nash couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. Humanity hadn't just survived their isolation. They had turned it into an opportunity. The quantum barrier, the Confederation's greatest achievement, had become humanity's greatest teacher. The dark ship disappeared in a ripple of space-time that their sensors couldn't even begin to comprehend, leaving behind one final message. "Catch us if you can. We have so much to show you." Captain Raven Blackwood stood at the helm of the Shadow Reef, her fingers dancing across the quantum interface as she guided humanity's flagship through another impossible maneuver. Behind her, the Confederation pursuit fleet struggled to match her ship's movements, their advanced sensors failing to make sense of the Shadow Reef's revolutionary propulsion system. "They're adapting to our gravitational wake," Lieutenant Hassan reported from his station, dark eyes fixed on the sensor readouts. "The crystalline vessels are learning our patterns." Raven allowed herself a small smile. "Good. They're paying attention." She adjusted their course with a thought, the neural interface translating her intentions into actions faster than physical controls ever could. The Shadow Reef responded like an extension of her own body, its dark matter core pulsing in perfect harmony with her commands. The ship's artificial intelligence, dubbed Mirror, manifested as a shimmer of light in her peripheral vision. "Captain, the Confederation flagship is attempting to establish a direct quantum communication link. Admiral Nash is persistent." "He should be," Raven replied, remembering her briefing on the ancient alien commander. "He was there when they decided to lock us away. Let's show him what that decision cost them." The Shadow Reef's engines hummed with power that defied conventional physics. What had started as stolen scraps of alien technology had evolved into something entirely new. Humanity's answer to isolation had been innovation beyond anything their wardens had imagined. "Initiating demonstration sequence Delta," Raven announced, her crew responding with practiced efficiency. The Shadow Reef's hull began to ripple with patterns of dark energy, each pulse revealing another aspect of their technological evolution. Let the Confederation's sensors drink it all in. Let them see exactly what humanity had achieved in their enforced solitude. Admiral Nash's voice crackled through their quantum comm, a hint of desperation in his usually controlled tone. "Unknown vessel, you've made your point. The Confederation is willing to negotiate." Raven exchanged glances with Hassan, who nodded in confirmation. The Confederation fleet's formation was exactly where they wanted it. "Admiral," she responded, allowing her voice to carry all the weight of humanity's 2 centuries of preparation, "we're not here to negotiate from a position of weakness. We're here to demonstrate why you should have never underestimated human potential." The Shadow Reef's dark matter core pulsed once, and reality seemed to bend around them. In an instant, they were behind the Confederation fleet, their sensors recording every detail of the aliens' supposedly advanced shielding technology. Another pulse, and they were above them. A third, and they surrounded the fleet in a display of spatial manipulation that the Confederation had long thought impossible. "How?" Nash's voice was barely a whisper over the quantum link. "This violates every law of physics we understand." "That's your problem, Admiral," Raven replied, executing another series of impossible maneuvers. "You stopped trying to understand the laws of physics. We never did. Your barrier wasn't a prison. It was a laboratory. Every attempt to contain us taught us something new. Every limitation you placed on us became another puzzle to solve." The Shadow Reef's hull now rippled with patterns of energy that the Confederation's sensors couldn't even detect, their advanced technology as blind to it as ancient humans had been to radio waves. This was humanity's true victory, not just matching their jailer's technology, but surpassing it in ways they couldn't comprehend. "We're transmitting a data packet," Raven announced, watching as the Confederation ships recoiled from the quantum burst of information. "Consider it a preview. 2 centuries of human innovation, distilled into a simple message: your understanding of the universe is incomplete." Hassan's console lit up with new alerts. "Captain, they're attempting to analyze the transmission. Their quantum processors are. They're struggling to process even the basic principles." "Of course they are," Raven said, allowing herself another small smile. "We didn't just advance our technology, Lieutenant. We revolutionized our understanding of reality itself. And now they have to decide: continue trying to contain us with their outdated methods, or accept that humanity has earned its place among the stars." The Shadow Reef performed one final maneuver, creating a cascade of spatial distortions that would keep the Confederation's scientists busy for years trying to understand. As they prepared to jump to their next demonstration point, Raven sent one last message to Admiral Nash. "The universe is bigger than you imagined, Admiral. Humanity is ready to show you just how much bigger. The only question is, are you ready to learn? High Counselor Jura Voss stood before the Grand Assembly of the Confederation, her bioluminescent markings pulsing with barely contained tension. The circular chamber, with its thousands of representatives from across the galaxy, had never felt more charged with anticipation. Above them, a holographic display showed the Shadow Reef maintaining its position at the heart of Confederation space, its dark hull defying their most advanced scanning techniques. The humans have not merely escaped containment, Jura announced, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. They have transcended it. The barrier we built to contain them became their greatest teacher. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of protests and exclamations, representatives from 100 different species all trying to be heard at once. Jura's markings flashed bright blue, commanding attention. I have reviewed Admiral Nash's reports and Captain Blackwood's demonstrations. What we witnessed was not a rebellion. It was a graduation. She gestured, and new holograms filled the space above the assembly. These are the technological advances humanity achieved during their isolation, not by copying our technology, but by understanding it, questioning it, and then surpassing it. First Minister Calix, his crystalline form vibrating with concern, spoke up. They are dangerous. Their history, Jura interrupted, is precisely why we should be listening now. Yes, they responded to our first contact with military mobilization. Yes, they showed aggression. But look what they did with 2 centuries of isolation. The holograms shifted, showing the Shadow Reef's impossible maneuvers, its manipulation of space-time that defied Confederation physics. They didn't build weapons of mass destruction. They didn't develop planet-killing technology. They developed understanding. They looked at our barrier, the most advanced containment system ever created, and saw it as a puzzle to be solved. She played the recordings from the pursuit, letting the assembly hear Captain Blackwood's words about human potential and innovation. The chamber fell silent as they absorbed the implications. The Shadow Reef carries no weapons, Jura continued. Its systems, as far as we can detect, are purely focused on exploration, understanding, and demonstration. They could have broken through our barrier years ago. Instead, they waited until they could teach us something. Another representative, a being of pure energy, pulsed with skepticism. And what could they possibly teach us? We are the Confederation. Our science, our understanding, is incomplete. A new voice rang through the chamber. Captain Blackwood's hologram appeared in the center of the assembly, her presence commanding attention despite being a projection. The Confederation's best security protocols had been bypassed as easily as their barrier. High Counselor Voss is correct, Raven continued, her image walking through the holographic displays. We're not here to threaten. We're here to share. Your barrier taught us that the universe is stranger and more wonderful than either of us imagined. Jura watched as the human captain manipulated the holographic displays, showing principles of physics that made even the most educated Confederation scientists gasp in wonder. You see space-time as a fabric to be navigated, Raven explained. We learned to see it as a dance partner. Your barrier showed us the steps, and we learned to improvise. The chamber was silent now, every being present transfixed by the demonstration of concepts that challenged their fundamental understanding of reality. Jura's markings pulsed with a mix of excitement and apprehension. The choice before us is simple, she addressed the assembly. We can continue to view humanity as a threat to be contained, or we can recognize them as what they've become. Pioneers who have pushed the boundaries of understanding further than we ever dared. Raven's hologram smiled. We don't want to replace the Confederation or challenge its authority. We want to join it, to share what we've learned, and to explore the universe together. Your barrier didn't just teach us about physics. It taught us patience, determination, and the value of understanding over confrontation. First Minister Calix's crystalline form had stopped vibrating with fear and now showed signs of curiosity. And if we refuse, if we attempt to reinforce the barrier, "Then you'll miss out on the greatest adventure in Confederation history," Raven replied. "We've already proven we can go wherever we wish. Now we're offering to take you with us, to show you wonders your sensors can't detect and your sciences can't explain. The only barrier left is the one in your minds." Jira stepped forward, her markings now glowing with determination. "I move that we formally recognize humanity's advancement and begin immediate negotiations for their integration into the Confederation, not as subjects, but as equals." The chamber erupted again, but this time the tone was different. Wonder had replaced fear, curiosity had overcome suspicion. As the representatives began to vote, Jira caught Raven's holographic eye and saw in it the same thing she felt in her own heart: the thrill of standing at the edge of a new era, ready to take the first step into an unknown but promising future. Ambassador Drake Morrison walked through the grand halls of the Confederation Archive, his footsteps echoing against walls that had recorded the history of 1,000 civilizations. Behind him, Admiral Nash and High Counselor Voss followed, their presence marking the significance of this moment. Above them, through the transparent quantum crystal ceiling, the shadow reef hung like a dark star, a testament to human ingenuity. 2 centuries ago, Drake began, his voice carrying the weight of humanity's journey. "Your ships appeared above our cities. We responded with fear, with weapons, with aggression. You chose to contain us, to protect the galaxy from what you saw as a dangerous species." He paused before a massive display showing the original barrier's construction. "You couldn't have given us a greater gift." Jira's bioluminescent markings pulsed with curiosity. "You see isolation as a gift. We see challenge as a gift," Drake corrected, gesturing to the wall of historical records. "Every civilization here achieved greatness through cooperation, through following established paths to advancement. Humanity needed something different. We needed a wall to push against, a puzzle to solve, a boundary to transcend." The display shifted, showing the Shadow Reef's revolutionary drive system. Admiral Nash's crystalline form vibrated with something between awe and concern. "You didn't just solve the puzzle, Ambassador. You rewrote the rules of reality itself." Drake smiled, touching a control panel that activated a new holographic display. The chamber filled with images of massive construction projects throughout the solar system, not weapons or warships, but research stations, exploration vessels, and technological marvels that defied conventional understanding. The barrier forced us to look inward, to question everything we thought we knew about physics, about reality, about our own potential. Every time we hit a wall, we asked why the wall existed. Every time we found a limitation, we questioned the nature of limitation itself. The holograms showed the evolution of human technology, from crude attempts to breach the barrier to the revolutionary understanding that had produced the Shadow Reef. "We don't want revenge," Drake continued. "We want partnership. The universe is bigger than any of us imagined, and we've only scratched the surface of what's possible." Jira moved closer to one of the displays, her markings now pulsing with excitement. "These designs, they completely redefine our understanding of quantum mechanics." "Because we had to redefine our understanding of everything," Drake explained. "Your barrier wasn't just a wall in space. It was a wall in our minds that we had to break through. And in doing so, we discovered something remarkable." He activated the final display, showing a 3-dimensional map of the known galaxy. But this map was different. It showed layers of reality that Confederation sensors had never detected, possibilities that their sciences had never considered. "The universe isn't just stranger than we imagine," Drake said, quoting an ancient human physicist. "It's stranger than we can imagine. But together, we can push the boundaries of imagination itself." Admiral Nash stepped forward, his crystalline form now resonating with a new frequency, one of acceptance. "You're not just offering us technology, are you? You're offering us a new way of thinking. We're offering you humanity's greatest gift, the ability to look at a wall and see a door, to face limitation and see opportunity." Drake turned to face them fully. The barrier you built taught us that the only true prison is the one in our minds. Now we're offering to help you break free of yours. Jura's markings blazed with sudden understanding. The demonstrations, the shadow reef, even this meeting, it's all been another lesson, hasn't it? Drake nodded. The final exam, you might say. Would you respond to our return with fear and further attempts at containment, or with curiosity and a desire to understand? You built a wall to protect the galaxy from humanity. We transformed that wall into a bridge. The ambassador touched a final control, and the chamber filled with plans for joint human confederation projects. Exploration vessels powered by humanity's revolutionary drive systems, research stations combining the best of both civilizations' understanding, and initiatives that would push the boundaries of known space and science. The choice is yours. Drake concluded. We can remain separate, bound by the limitations of our own understanding, or we can move forward together into a future that neither of us could achieve alone. The barrier taught humanity to see beyond boundaries. Now we're offering to show you what lies beyond them. Admiral Nash, High Counselor Voss, and Ambassador Morrison stood together in the archive chamber, surrounded by the history of a galaxy on the brink of transformation. Above them, the Shadow Reef continued its silent vigil, no longer a symbol of humanity's defiance, but a beacon lighting the way to a future where barriers existed only to be transcended, where limitations existed only to be overcome, and where two very different paths of evolution could finally converge into something greater than either could have imagined alone.